If you're over 60 and planning to travel soon, stop for a moment, because what I'm about to tell you could completely change how you move through an airport. Welcome aboard. I'm Mila, and after more than 15 years working above the clouds, watching millions of passengers shuffle through security lines and board planes with hopeful smiles, I've learned something important. What's on your phone matters more today than most travelers realize. I've handed out endless cups of coffee, comforted nervous flyers during rough skies, and stood at the aircraft door long enough to see travel change in ways people on the ground never notice. I see new security systems being tested, subtle shifts in protocol quietly introduced, and unfortunately, I also see the mistakes passengers make. Mistakes that get them delayed, questioned, or even denied boarding. Today, we need to have a serious, private conversation about your phone. Not your suitcase, not your liquids, not your snacks, your phone. For years, travelers assumed security only cared about what was in their bags. But that world is gone. In 2026, airport security revolves around data. Information has become the new form of contraband, and many senior travelers are at particular risk without even knowing it. Grandchildren install apps, tech-savvy relatives make helpful adjustments, and everyday tools download hidden features that create a digital trail you don't realize exists. Over the past year, electronic device examinations have increased dramatically at secondary screenings, international borders, and whenever someone is flagged for enhanced inspection. They are scanning for intent, digital signs that match risk patterns. And here is where things get complicated. There are 5 types of apps that seem harmless to you, but immediately raise suspicion to security algorithms. These apps can turn a relaxing vacation into hours of questioning in a windowless room. So before your next flight, I want you to grab your glasses, place your phone in front of you, and prepare for a complete digital checkup. I'm going to show you exactly which apps to delete or hide, why they trigger concern, and how to protect yourself from misunderstandings that could ruin your travel day. Let's begin with the first app, one that surprises almost everyone. This first category of apps tends to shock people, especially those who rely on natural remedies or pain relief. I'm talking about Cannabis and CBD locator or delivery app. I know what many of you are thinking already. Mila, I use CBD cream for my arthritis, or it's legal where I live, so why does it matter? Here's the part nobody explains. The airport is federal territory. The airspace above it is federal jurisdiction. And under federal law, cannabis remains a controlled substance, regardless of what your state allows. That means the moment you step past security, everything shifts. Apps like Weed Maps, Leafly, Ease, anything designed to help you find or order cannabis products, act like digital billboards, announcing your association with something federal authorities still consider high risk. I once witnessed an older couple in Chicago pulled aside for what started as a simple bag check. Nothing alarming was found until the officer asked the gentleman to unlock his phone. One swipe revealed a folder filled with dispensary apps. Instantly, the atmosphere changed. Officers assumed he might be crossing state lines with contraband. They tore apart his luggage, emptied pill bottles, and even brought in drug detection dogs. He had nothing on him, yet he and his wife missed their connection and endured a humiliating scene, all because of apps he forgot were installed. My advice couldn't be simpler. Delete them before flying. You don't need a cannabis locator at the airport or on vacation. If you must find a dispensary later, use a browser in private mode once you've arrived. The goal is to avoid unnecessary attention. The same caution applies to CBD apps, even those related to legal hemp products. These apps still signal intent, which gives security reasons to probe further. Now let's move to the second red flag category. This one has nothing to do with substances. It's about privacy tools that, unfortunately, look suspicious to trained officers. I'm referring to Vault or hidden photo apps. Many seniors use them to store credit card pictures or private medical images safely. These apps often disguise themselves as calculators or utility tools, requiring a code to unlock. To a security team, however, they mean one thing. Someone is hiding something. When an officer scans a device, these Vault-style apps stand out immediately. Their system can detect them within seconds, and once flagged, the assumption becomes that the user is hiding something dangerous. images connected to crimes, encrypted messages, or financial evidence. The unfortunate truth is that border agents are trained to associate these apps with the worst-case scenarios. So when a 70-year-old traveler unlocks a phone containing one of these disguised folders, they don't see an innocent attempt to store medical photos or passwords. They see a potential threat that must be thoroughly questioned. I remember a retired teacher who had a Vault app because her grandson thought it would help protect her banking information. She barely used it and couldn't even recall the password. At customs in London, her phone was flagged, and she spent 4 exhausting hours in secondary inspection while officers tried to determine what was inside that hidden folder. She wasn't guilty of anything, yet the misunderstanding created unnecessary panic and delay. If you want to keep certain files secure, use your phone's built-in tools, the hidden album on iPhones, locked with biometrics, or the secure folder on Samsung devices. These methods look normal and don't trigger alarms. Avoid third-party hidden folder apps entirely. Now let's discuss the third category, one that affects tech-savvy seniors and those who value privacy. VPN and Tor browsers. VPN themselves aren't inherently suspicious. Many people use them to protect information on public Wi-Fi. But certain types, especially free VPN filled with ads or the Tor browser used for dark web access, immediately suggest evasive behavior. To security officers, a Tor browser is rarely seen as innocent. It signals potential involvement in illegal marketplaces or hidden communications. Even standard VPN apps can create issues, depending on where you're traveling. In countries with strict internet censorship, parts of the Middle East, China, and others, having a visible VPN app can be considered illegal, even when returning to the US. And censorship. If an officer sees a VPN actively running, the question becomes, what are you trying to hide? For many seniors, VPN are installed by friends or relatives without clear explanation. If you don't fully understand why it's on your phone or how it works, remove it before traveling. At the very least, turn it off and tuck it deep into a folder so it doesn't raise questions. Your goal at a checkpoint is to appear transparent, not technologically evasive. The goal is to look like a straightforward traveler, not someone hiding layers of encrypted activity. But the next category is even riskier, both for your security at the airport and for your financial safety at home. I'm talking about remote desktop and screen sharing apps such as AnyDesk, TeamViewer, or Quick Support. These apps allow someone else to control your device from another location. While they are legitimate tools for ed professionals, they are also the #1 method scammers use to target seniors. If an officer sees one of these apps on your phone, their first concern is not that you're doing anything illegal. It's that someone else might be controlling you. They worry that you're being manipulated, trafficked, or financially exploited. I've seen security officers stop seniors and ask who installed the app, only to hear, "A man from the bank told me to download it," or "Someone from Amazon support helped me," to a security team. That's an emergency. Even if you're completely innocent, this situation triggers long questioning, delays, and sometimes deeper device inspections. From a national security perspective, these apps also create a direct pathway into phone. If someone with malicious intent has access to your device, that becomes a potential threat crossing the border. So if you aren't an IT worker who uses these tools for your job, delete them. Not later, now. Pause and check your phone. Stop it. If you don't recognize an app that allows remote access, remove it immediately. It's a digital doorway you don't want to carry into an airport. Now, the fifth problem category isn't illegal or dangerous, but it still causes massive delays and unnecessary stress at security checkpoints. Outdated or unreliable third-party airline apps. Many passengers, especially seniors trying to save money, download cheap flight finder apps or outdated booking tools that don't communicate properly with airport scanners. When you reach the TSA podium and try to pull up your boarding pass, the app freezes, loads an ad, crashes, or shows a QR code that won't scan. Suddenly, you've become the reason the line is backing up. Agents get frustrated, other passengers sigh, and now you're under extra scrutiny because your documentation isn't loading correctly. I've watched people get pulled aside for additional screening simply because their digital boarding pass came from a sketchy app. The fix is simple. Use the official app of your airline or store your boarding pass directly in your phone's wallet feature. Delete the unreliable apps. They fail when you need them most. Now that we've gone through the apps you should remove, we need to talk about something even more important, the digital inspection process itself and what your rights actually are. There's a lot of confusion around this, so let's clear it up. If you're traveling within the United States and staying on domestic flights, you have strong Fourth Amendment protections. TSA officers cannot simply demand to unlock your phone because they're curious. They can, however, ask you to power it on to prove it's a functioning device. If your phone is dead and won't turn on, you're not allowed through with it. So charge your phone fully before heading to the airport. But things change dramatically when you travel internationally. U.S. Customs and Border Protection has broad authority at the border, and courts have consistently ruled that they can demand access to your phone, including your passcode. That's why I always recommend something I call a sanitizing for travel. Think of it like cleaning your home before guests arrive. Only in this case, the guest is a government officer with the legal right to look through your belongings. Before your trip, back up your device to the cloud or your computer, then remove clutter. Delete the problematic apps we discussed, and carefully review your photo gallery. Many seniors store photos of credit cards, passports, social security cards, and medical documents. If you lose your phone or its access during screening, those images become a huge risk. Delete them and store digital copies inside a secure password manager instead. Next, log out of any social media or email accounts you don't absolutely need. If an officer opens your device and you're logged out, they rarely ask you to sign in unless they have a specific reason. That extra layer of distance protects your personal information. There's another critical safety step, disabling face or fingerprint unlock before entering security. If someone holds your phone up to your face or uses your thumb, biometrics can unlock your device instantly. Passcodes offer more legal protection because courts treat them differently. They're considered knowledge, not a physical trait. On many phones, you can temporarily disable biometrics by triggering the emergency screen. When you travel, your phone becomes a complete snapshot of your life. The goal is to decide what that snapshot looks like before anyone else sees it. And once you begin to look at your phone as a complete snapshot of your identity, you start to understand why preparing it for travel is just as important as packing your suitcase. The safest traveler is the one who removes confusion before it begins. And while we've covered what you should delete and how to secure your device, there's still one piece missing: what you should keep and how your phone can actually help you move through security more confidently instead of creating unnecessary tension. One of the most valuable tools you can carry is the official Transportation Security app. Having it installed signals to officers that you're organized and prepared, and it gives you access to accurate wait times, official rules, and quick answers about what items are allowed. If you ever find yourself unsure whether something can go through security, like medical cooling packs, knitting tools, or hearing aid supplies, this app provides the official answer straight from the source. And if a disagreement arises, showing an officer their own documented rule is the most respectful and effective way to resolve it. Along with that, make sure your airline's official app is fully updated. Nothing slows down a security line or boarding process faster than a malfunctioning third-party pass. When your digital boarding pass lives in your airline app or in your phone's wallet feature, it loads faster, scans instantly, and avoids the awkward delays that make agents suspicious. A smooth, simple boarding pass exchange can set the tone for your entire flight. Now, let's address social media apps, not because they usually trigger security red flags, but because they often create problems travelers never expect. Many people, especially seniors eager to share travel excitement, use location features without realizing how public their information becomes. Posting that you're at the airport and heading out of the country for 2 weeks might feel fun, but it's basically announcing to potential criminals that your home is empty. Security is not only about the airport, it begins the moment you leave your front door. If you use tracking apps like Life 360 or location sharing features with close family members, that's perfectly fine. Just make sure you're not broadcasting publicly. You want safety, not vulnerability disguised as convenience. And if you're traveling to regions with political restrictions or sensitivities, be cautious with any app that reveals your online opinions. Your posts might feel innocent to you, but in certain countries, authorities check them and interpret them differently. If you're politically active online, the safest option is to travel with a clean device, a simple backup phone with essential apps only. Now let's clear up a common misconception that confuses many travelers: cloud storage. Deleting something from your phone doesn't erase it from everywhere. Seniors often assume that once the app icon disappears, the data is gone completely. But photos, documents, and files may still live in cloud backups. Fortunately, when border agents look through your phone, they typically focus on what is physically stored on the device at that moment. By removing an app from your home screen, you eliminate the visual trigger that draws attention in the first place. If an officer picks up your phone and sees normal tools, maps, weather, a clean airline app, they lose interest quickly. That is exactly what you want. The safest digital traveler is the most boring one. But before we wrap up, there's one more digital hazard I need to warn you about, and it surprises almost everyone. Messaging apps like WhatsApp, Telegram, and Signal. These apps aren't dangerous by themselves, but their automatic settings can be. Many have an autosave feature that downloads every image or video sent to you straight into your camera roll. That means any joke, political meme, spam message, or inappropriate content someone forwards could end up in your gallery, even if you never opened it. I once saw a traveler stopped overseas because officials found inappropriate media in his photo folder. He had never seen the images. They were dumped there, automatically from a group chat he was hardly active in. It nearly caused him legal trouble. Turn off autosave features so that nothing enters your phone unless you intentionally choose it. Now that we've covered the risks and the solutions, let's recap an action plan you can apply before your next flight. A simple digital cleanse that takes minutes and eliminates hours of potential trouble. Remove substance-related apps. Delete vault or hidden folder apps. Get rid of remote access tools unless you use them professionally. Hide or remove VPN you don't fully understand. Update official airline apps. Clean your gallery of sensitive photos. Log out of unnecessary accounts. Turn off biometric unlock before reaching the checkpoint. Disable automatic downloads in messaging apps. You might be thinking, Mila, I'm just a grandparent going to visit my family. Why is all of this necessary? And the answer is simple, because your phone has become the most revealing object you carry. It holds your finances, your communication, your medical history, and your memories. When you travel, that device enters one of the most controlled and scrutinized environments in the world. Taking a few minutes to prepare it protects your privacy, prevents misunderstandings, and ensures a smoother, calmer experience at the airport. And honestly, cleaning up your phone feels good. It clears space, reduces clutter, and restores control over something you use every day. I want you to walk into security with confidence, knowing that if anyone asks to look at your device, there's nothing on it that could raise questions or create stress. You'll feel lighter, safer, and far more prepared. Travel shouldn't be overwhelming. It should feel empowering. And your digital life should support that, not complicate it. Take a few minutes today to do a phone check. Ask your grandkids for help if you need it, but explain why it matters. Tell them Mila said, it's a federal safety issue. Stay aware, stay prepared, and remember, you deserve to travel without worry. I'll see you in the skies soon.